This scenario would start right after Goku defeats King Piccolo. He heads up to the lookout and is informed of the threat of Piccolo Jr. He's then healed, and Kami is about to cut off Goku's tail, but realizes that maybe he can use it to his advantage. If Goku were to somehow gain control of the transformation, Piccolo wouldn't stand a chance. But there is the problem of turning into a giant monkey. He thinks for a moment before getting an idea. Maybe Goku can control this power in his base form. This allows for Goku to keep his tail for the time being. Kami brings back the Dragon Balls, which leads to the arrival of Krillin, Roshi, and Chaozu. Goku then does the normal training, but Kami also makes him do more self-control activities alongside meditation for the Great Ape. Over a year of training later, Kami believes Goku is ready to try the Great Ape transformation, and it's practically the perfect time because the full moon is up. Goku transformed, and he tries to gain control, but because he has no experience, he loses it right away. Kami tries to communicate with him, but since Goku can't hear him up front, Kami enters his mind trying to talk him through being able to control his power. Goku tries harder, and the ape stops moving, as it looks to be in control. That is until he slaps Kami. For a second, Goku was able to gain control, but after that, he lost it again. From behind, Popo takes out Goku's tail, which then allows for him to power down to his human, or Saiyan state, and lose consciousness. A few years pass, and Goku tries the transformation every month or so. Every time, he gains control for longer, until one day, he's able to do it. Kami came up with a method in which he projected Goku's loved ones in his mind. The one that worked was him and Krillin training. Great Ape Goku smiles, and then even slightly talks. He was finally able to gain control. This is about 3 years into the training. The other 2 years are spent being able to control this power in his base. Kami has an idea to how this could work better. He goes down to Capsule Corp to talk to Bulma, who thinks it's King Piccolo and freaks out. But Kami explains who he is, and tells her to work on a Blitzwave machine. I don't think he would say Blitzwave, but something along those lines. In a few weeks, Bulma comes up with a mini device, which acts as a Great Ape transformer. When projected onto a Saiyan with a tail, it starts to turn them into a Great Ape, as we saw in GT with Vegeta, except this one is probably going to be portable and not a tank. Kami projects this on Goku, and as he starts to transform, Goku starts to breathe, close his eyes, trying to prevent himself from getting bigger. His eyes turn yellow, his ki starts to go up and back down, until finally a calm figure settles in. Not a Great Ape Goku, but a base Goku, who had unlocked his Ikari or Wrathful state. Now this doesn't mean Goku is in full control. This form comes with a lot of rage building up inside of Goku, and he doesn't act like himself sometimes, lashing out, but Goku slowly starts to gain control. While not perfecting it, he's able to access it at will. One downside of all this training with the Great Ape and trying to control it is that he has less time to actually increase his base strength. Instead of a max power level of 345, he's at 320, which might not seem like a lot, but is weaker than Piccolo's base. Speaking of Piccolo, he is not the same as in canon. Sensing Goku losing control and getting 10 times stronger every now and then pushes him to get stronger as well. Originally, he knew what he was fighting and trained accordingly. Here, he also knows what he's fighting, something far stronger. I would put Piccolo's base power level at about 600. Now it's time for the tournament, and Goku reunites with the Z Fighters. Both Goku and Piccolo share a smug smirk before it starts. Chaozu still messes with the numbers, so Goku goes up against King Chappa, and is able to easily knock him out, even with the lower power level. The next notable fight is Goku vs Chi-Chi, in which Goku still proposes, and Chi-Chi accepts. Piccolo vs Krillin is more than one-sided. With Piccolo's much higher power level, he lays waste to Krillin in seconds. Kami still participates as Shen, because while he knows Goku has this new power, he still wants to try and seal Piccolo away, to avoid it all. He wins his fight against Yamcha. Goku and Tien's fight goes pretty much the same, except Goku struggles more, and when all 4 Tiens rush at him, he actually has to power up an Ikari for a quick second, followed by taking all 4 of them out in the blink of an eye. This doesn't go unnoticed by Tien or Piccolo. The Shen and Piccolo fight still results in Kami actually being sealed, and leads to the final match between Goku and Piccolo. Goku already has his weights off, but Piccolo keeps his turban on, wanting to gauge his and Goku's power levels. They start out evenly, but as Piccolo starts to turn it up, it becomes more one-sided, and Goku gets knocked around. Piccolo lands a combo of moves, sending Goku upwards with a kick, followed by using his flying to land a flurry of punches mid-air. Piccolo ends it with a kick which sends Goku crashing into the ring, creating a crater. While bloodied and bruised, Goku gets up, smirking. Piccolo doesn't want to take Goku down, knowing he isn't using his full power, so he tells Goku to hurry up and power up already, and so he does. As Goku starts to power up, a yellow-greenish aura appears around him, and his eyes turn yellow. Now in Ikari, Goku follows by landing his combo to Piccolo, but first kicking him across the arena. Piccolo spits up blood, and as he looks to counter, Goku is nowhere to be found. Appearing above him, Goku elbows the back of his head, which knocks the turban off. He then kicks Piccolo upwards, and while he can't yet fly, his jumping ability allows for him to remain in the air for a considerable amount. He uses a punch to make Piccolo spit up Kami's bottle, and then kicks him downwards into the same crater he was thrown in. Piccolo tries to use an attack which will blow the arena and Goku up, but Goku appears behind him once more, using the 1-inch punch that sends Piccolo down for a minute. He then opens up Kami's bottle, releasing him. But while distracted with that, Goku doesn't notice Piccolo, and as he turns around, he sees a much bigger version of him. Piccolo used gigantification, and this originally gave him a 60% boost in power. In this version, he's boosted to 960. With him being much stronger, he tries to get Goku down, but Goku's at a power level of over 3000. He's still able to easily dodge every attack and launches upwards, kicking Piccolo, which makes him collapse and fall out of the ring. His rage takes over and he nearly kills Piccolo, but that's when Krillin tells him to stop, saying that would take out the Dragon Balls. Goku's back in the thick again and powers down from IKARI as he flies off with Chi-Chi. They later have Gohan, and from birth, Goku tries to teach Gohan to gain control over his Grade 8 power. Gohan doesn't learn IKARI or anything. He just slowly gains control over Grade 8. He's close to doing so by the end of his 5 years of peace. But not just yet, as he is still just a toddler, or kind of kid. The reunion occurs and unlike usual, no one is freaked out about Gohan's tail, cause they all know about Grade 8. Raditz shows up to interrupt, and that goes pretty much normal, except he doesn't have any luck taking Gohan. Goku gets in front of him in IKARI, and catches the fist, telling him to stand down. Raditz remarks that his power level just increased tenfold. Perhaps this is a Grade 8 form, but he also questions how Goku was able to use it in his base. This is answered, but rather met with a fist. Raditz realizes that he has no chance against a Grade 8, big or not, so he throws an artificial moon and turns into a Grade 8 himself, fighting Goku. While his Grade 8 is stronger, Goku's is smaller and is able to move around better, which allows for their fight to be more so even. Goku is able to get up to Raditz's face, then kicks him downward, but as he falls, he grabs Goku and grabs him in a grasp, tightly. After some struggle, Goku gets up, and they go back and forth for a while. Piccolo then shows up and realizes he has to help Goku, if he even wants a chance at taking over the Earth one day. Piccolo knows he can't beat Raditz in his base either, so he grows giant. In the 5-year gap, his base increased to 800, which is then increased by 60% for the gigantification boost. That puts Piccolo at 1280. With the combined efforts of Goku and Piccolo, they managed to cut Raditz's tail off, and with the Super Kamehameha, Goku kills him. Before dying though, Raditz explains that 2 more Saiyans, many times stronger than him, will come to take over this planet. Piccolo then kills Raditz for good. Now, things that change include Goku doesn't die here. Raditz uses his Grade 8 form, and Gohan is not taken by Piccolo, who leaves right after Raditz is defeated. This means he simply remains neutral for the time being, because Gohan isn't there to turn him into a good guy. A lot of you might be thinking that, well, Goku doesn't go to King Kai's planet, because he didn't die. But that's not true. Him dying was just simply convenient, because it meant that Kami wouldn't have to take Goku to Snake Way. He was already there. Since Raditz showed his Grade 8 form and nearly killed Goku, alongside mentioning the other Saiyans are stronger than him, Kami would still have the same worry and send Goku to King Kai's planet. Although using IKARI, Goku's able to get there twice as fast. Gohan, on the other hand, trains with Kami. Chi-Chi doesn't agree with this at first, but after realizing that Kami has all the knowledge in the world and will teach it to Gohan, she does allow it. Gohan goes through the same training as Goku did as a kid, with Grade 8 and IKARI. So he learns IKARI, although the year isn't enough to get it under full control, so he loses it more than being able to properly use it. Goku, on the other hand, learns Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb like usual. Since it took him half the time as normal, Goku's also at his normal base power level due to him getting more training. He's also able to better learn both techniques, especially the Kaioken. He gets it up to ×4, which takes most of his time, but afterwards, realizing that there is a better way to utilize it, although his time runs out after Kami contacts him, saying the Saiyans arrived earlier than they expected. But this is any problem, as Goku makes it past Snake Way in minutes, and is there right after the group take care of the Cybermen. And Yamcha doesn't die, because the group played it smarter knowing what Raditz was capable of. Gohan gets more involved, since he's far more confident in his abilities after training with Kami. He also never went into the wild due to the lack of training with Piccolo, so he gets an extra 6 months of training. This increases his starting power in the Saiyan Saga by 50%, putting him at 2,970. Goku arrives just as Nappa starts his fight with the Z Fighters. He takes his fighting stance staring at Vegeta, who does the same, as they smirk. A reoccurring thing with this what if is power levels, and at this point they're still relevant. Firstly, Goku's power level would not be 8,000, it would be higher. Because Piccolo was always training, and training much harder due to him losing so badly, Goku did so as well. He couldn't take the chance of Piccolo surpassing him, and this made his power level around 700 against Raditz. Piccolo's base was stronger at the time, but after training with King Kai and the gravity, his power would have gotten the same boost as before, 19.23. We take 19.23 and multiply that by 700, which gets us to a power level of 13,461. Let's just say 13,460. Now the actual fight. Goku takes on Vegeta, and the Saiyan with the high power level starts the boost. Vegeta calls Goku out for being a low-class warrior. Goku returns the favor by saying, "If you're such an elite, then why don't you prove it?" Vegeta smirks. Taking his fighting stance in return, Goku does the same. Away from the fight, Nappa is fighting the Z Fighters. Piccolo would still be around, and his power level would be almost twice as large as in canon. Only problem is, he'll only fight the Saiyans for his benefit. Not being with Gohan for the last year means that he would not change. He remains neutral for now though. Rushing in the fight, Piccolo toys around with Nappa, knocking him around. To mock him, he kicks Nappa side to side, all while flying to him. The Z Fighters have had just about enough, especially Gohan. This Piccolo character is taking too long to end the fight. Gohan is told not to, but he jumps into IKARI, barely clinging on to control. In this form, what he sees angers him even more. Gohan rushes up and blasts Nappa into oblivion for trying to hurt everybody. He falls by looking directly at Piccolo and wants to assume a fighting stance. Piccolo tells the kid to stand down, but Gohan just rushes in. While Goku's power level is 5,000 more than original, he still needs another 5,000 to match Vegeta. He charges at Goku, landing an elbow to his face. Being knocked back into rocks, Goku jumps outwards, but Vegeta's there to meet him, punching him back down towards the ground. Getting into a stalemate, Vegeta questions Goku. "Where's your power now, Kakarot?" This is followed by a kick, landing directly to Goku's midsection, making blood splat out of his mouth. Having had enough, Goku starts to power up. Still not wanting to go all out, he only powers up into Kaioken times 2. But this is almost equivalent to Kaioken times 3 as in the original. Vegeta's shocked by the power at display, and is extremely worried. While he can't sense Ki, he does notice Goku's power level spike and buff up. So Vegeta is really scared. Goku charges at him, and as Vegeta goes to block, suddenly Goku isn't there anymore. Appearing on top of Vegeta, he lands a stuttering kick, reminiscing of the one he received earlier. Vegeta powers up further, but even at his max power level of 20,000, he isn't a match to the Earth-raised Saiyan in front of him. Angered, Vegeta decides to go all out or nothing. Trying to get a surprise hit off Goku, he flanks him and is able to go up towards the sky. Not knowing what he'll do, Goku awaits. However, what comes next isn't a dash towards the ground. It's a Gallic gun meant to destroy the Earth. The mercy of Goku's face disappears, and he prepares a Kamehameha. As the two blasts collide, Goku's overpowered, but not wanting to give Vegeta even a chance to destroy the Earth, he powers up an IKARI and pushes it back at such speed that Vegeta is hit. He falls unconscious. Just then, Goku notices two spikes of power away from his fight. Gohan and IKARI is enraged, and attacking Piccolo for petty reasons. While Gohan has power, Piccolo far surpasses him in every other manner. He's able to use Gohan's anger against him, but that doesn't mean Piccolo goes unharmed. Every hit Gohan lands hurts and makes him bleed, but he mostly avoids what looks to be the killing blows. Eventually, Gohan gets tired out, and falls from the IKARI transformation. Piccolo's about to knock him out, when Goku arrives and grabs his hand. The two start to squabble, and in that time, Vegeta wakes up, throws an artificial moon, and becomes a great ape. In the distance, the Z Fighters can see the giant beast roaring in the sky. They all look at each other and fly towards it. Goku obviously knows about the great ape at this time. He trained with it, he trained Gohan with it, and he fought Raditz, who was using it. This also means they know the weak spot from the beginning. While Goku and Piccolo fight the beast, the others will try and cut the tail off. As soon as the fight begins though, Vegeta slaps down Piccolo to the ground, and just as he's about to step on the Namekian, Goku and IKARI stops him and flips him upside down. While Goku and IKARI also would get a 10 times boost, remember, he still isn't as strong as Vegeta's base, so his 134.7k power level is met with a 180,000 power level. With Piccolo knocked out and heavily injured, he's alone. But wait, there's Gohan. Powering up a new IKARI alongside his father, the two start to fight the ape. Having the power boost and being smaller will obviously help them maneuver around the ape better than the ape can move and travel around them. This gives them an advantage. Krillin at a distance is preparing a Kienzan, and both Tien and Yamcha sneak behind Vegeta, grabbing his tail. Being that he's busy fighting with Goku and Gohan, he doesn't have the time to pay attention to others. By then it's too late though, because with Chaozu's telepathic abilities, they're able to stop Vegeta for just a split second, allowing Krillin's Kienzan to slide right through. But just before the ape goes down, he jumps onto Chaozu and crushes him. And he's not the only casualty. While they were fighting, Vegeta made sure to pummel Piccolo's corpse, which means Kami's also dead, which means the Dragon Balls are gone. Tien immediately kills Vegeta, no mercy. This forces the Z Fighters to head to Namek. something that Vegeta would surely have brought up, either against Goku or when he saw Piccolo for the first time. Kami's ship is starting to be rebuilt, and better suited for space travel. Both Bulma and Dr. Briefs finish it just a little later than in canon, because they install a gravity room requested by Goku. Then they also make the ship bigger for the amount of people going. One thing that would change though is Gohan. While he's extremely powerful, Gohan can't control his power, and Goku has to bench him after being convinced by Chi-Chi. The people to go are Goku, Krillin, Tien, and Bulma to pilot the ship. It takes them roughly 30 days to arrive. In that time, they were all doing the gravity training, and here's where 30 days come into play. Originally, while training, Goku was only doing it for 6 days. Here he has 30. However, both Krillin and Tien have to catch up, and it takes a couple of days for them to get accustomed to even 10 times gravity. Slowly though, they increase, and with Goku having training partners too, it makes him stronger. I feel like this one would only go up to the 50 times, because otherwise it would be further delayed to Namek. This means that while the boost would be greater than the original, it wouldn't be a ridiculous amount. All of them would get a 12 times increase, putting Goku at 161,000, Tien at 25,000, and Krillin at 30,000. With Vegeta not on Namek, Kui would still be alive. This would still relatively be around the time Frieza is at the village. The Earth Fighters easily take out the two soldiers roaming where they are. Goku splits off to go hunt for Dragon Balls in one direction, while Tien and Krillin go the other. They run into Frieza, Dodoria, and Zarbon. Mori destroys all the scouters, and just as he does, Tien pulls out the solar flare at the perfect time. The Frieza crew is blinded, and any soldiers that aren't are killed by Krillin. They grab Mori and Dende flying off. Tien rushes back for cargo, but Frieza shoots a death beam at him, forcing Tien to flee. Because he was blinded, he missed Tien, but he was still able to hit cargo. Dodoria chases close behind, but being that they are far stronger, Tien simply launches a Kikoho that kills him. After the blind effect completely wears off, Frieza tells Zarbon to go and chase after them. On the other side of the planet, Goku is soaring through and trying to find as many Dragon Balls as possible. He comes across Frieza's ship, and doesn't know if it's a threat, so he just enters. All the soldiers point guns at him, and he tries to explain that he comes in peace, and is looking for the Dragon Balls. They aren't happy with the answers, and shoot. Big mistake though, because Goku takes them all out and ends up finding a Dragon Ball. 3 are still with Frieza, but slowly the Z-Fighters are catching up. Goku flies out and finds another one nearby in the ocean. He then checks the radar and sees one close to him, and 3 bunched up somewhere else. He decides to check out the one near him first, and that one turns out to be the Guru's place. At the same time, Krillin and Tien arrive with Dende and Muri, and that goes pretty much the same. They all get their potential unlocked though, and this gives everyone a huge boost in power. Most importantly would be Goku, and he would be at 1.1 million. However, we know that the initial boost is not it, because as stated by Vegeta, Gohan and Krillin continued to grow stronger while the fight with Frieza was going on, leading to them putting up a better fight each time he transformed. However, Goku at 1.1 million without the big Zenkai is still not enough for him to fight Frieza. He easily takes down the Emperor in his first form, however, but Frieza has more to show, and Goku has no plans of backing down or not letting him transform. It's Goku, guys. So, Frieza uses his second form, which does a lot better, putting Frieza just short of Goku's power. However, his power is also increasing as the fight goes on. As Frieza provides a better and better fight, Goku is reaching near heights. By the time Frieza pulls out his third form, Goku has reached a power level of 2.5 million. With this increase, both of them actually even out for the time being. Frieza's raw power matches up against Goku's. While the fight continues, Nail, Krillin, and Tien gather the remainder of the 3 Dragon Balls that were grouped together. With Frieza, add decimated Namekian village, which doesn't really make Nail happy. With this, they summon Purunga, and with the first wish, they bring back Piccolo for the Dragon Balls, and Chaozu with the second wish. With the third, Nail, unknowingly to Guru, wishes for his life to be extended, because the group didn't actually have a third wish, and Guru's life is now extended. Now remember, Guru dies around like now, but with Nail making the wish, it allows for him to live through the fight. On Earth, Piccolo finds himself awoken in the crater he was left in, stomped by Vegeta. He gets up, and doesn't sense any of the keys he normally would. No Goku or Tien. He thinks that Vegeta might have killed them, but then, how was he brought back? Kami surely died with him. Piccolo does sense one familiar key though. Still, Kami's there. Back on Namek, Goku and Frieza's fight is getting serious. Frieza has finally revealed his final form, with Goku reaching the potential unlock's final strand at 3 million. Frieza is now easily winning, with a small fraction of his power. But Goku smirks, revealing he isn't going all out yet either. He once again powers up, but this time it's an actual transformation, IKARI. putting his power level at 30 million and above with the one cocky Frieza holding back at 20% of his power. A mere 24 million can't fight at 30 million. Goku is able to knock him around for a little bit, and using a Kamehameha to kill the Emperor. But Frieza is given enough time to reach his half point, 60% of his full power, doubling Goku's power. Now it's really not looking good for the Saiyan. He's out of time, out of power, and losing badly. But is he out of transformations? Rewind to the last part, where Goku arrived much earlier on King Kai's planning. He was able to get more time perfecting Kaioken, which he did do, but then worked on something else with the remainder of his time, combining IKARI with Kaioken. The first time he tried it, his body almost died on him, but it was assurance, because it almost died on him. It didn't fully. Just like with Kaioken, he has a chance of being able to control it. The extra time on the ship was also spent working on this, and now with his high power level, he might be able to use it. Mid-fight, as he's being demolished by Frieza, Goku says something that catches Frieza's attention. Frieza smugly asks the beaten Saiyan,
"What did you say, monkey?"
Goku repeats, Kaioken! Frieza is pushed back from the pressure, as Goku is surrounded by a red aura covering him entirely, with his yellow eyes zooming in on Frieza. He charges from the crater Frieza had him in, and gut punches him, sending the Emperor crashing through mountains. Getting back up, Frieza decides to play no more games, and uses 100% of his power. Goku charges back towards Frieza, noticing that he had an increase in power. Repeatedly, he shouts, Kaioken times 4. His body starts to increasingly be in pain, but his power and Frieza's are even at 120 million. They start a fight, but it's clear Goku can't keep it up for long. In the distance, Tien, Krillin, Nail, and Dende show up. The three warriors rush in to support Goku as he falls to the ground. The strain of Kaioken times 4 combined with IKARI was way too much for even him. So he has to be healed by Dende. Luckily, Nail, Tien, and Krillin have a tactic. They can't really take Frieza head on. He will clearly one-shot them. So they decide to keep their distance and use techniques like solar flares, ki attacks, and once Frieza's in the right position, a Kikoho. Frieza isn't being affected by the attack, so he has his fun. But when Tien's Kikoho reaches him, it pushes him downwards, causing a huge amount of pain. This was able to counter Semi-Perfect Cell, and it would be the equivalent of what's happening here. However, Tien doesn't just give his life, because Goku is healed in time, receiving a 33.333 times increase in power, putting him at a power level of 100 million. Powering up into IKARI, Goku, for the final time, charges towards Frieza and punches him miles away. Looking at everyone and giving a thank you, Goku follows until he gets in Frieza's face and repeats his finishing move, which did not do the job last time. Kamehameha. Frieza's evaporated. No chance. The group have won. On Earth, Piccolo reaches the lookout, questioning Kami about what happened. After getting the story, Piccolo starts to laugh. Kami can read his intentions and explains that taking over Earth is not an option for him. Goku will return, and when he does, there is no way Piccolo will win. But Piccolo doesn't listen. Unknown to him, Gohan is also still on Earth. Piccolo starts with the biggest city, and destroys it pretty fast, moving to the next, and the next. Kami telepathically tells King Kai to inform the group that he will bring them to the lookout. Piccolo didn't think that far ahead. Kami makes the wish using the Dragon Balls, and Gohan confronts Piccolo. With a much better handle of his power, Gohan is able to use IKARI, sending a chilling feel to Piccolo. Scared, he runs the other way. Gohan knows not to kill the green dude, but he can rough him up, and so he does. Gohan beats up Piccolo until Goku gets there, followed by Tien, who came with a surprise. The rice cooker, which he uses to seal Piccolo for good. Tien is reunited with his best friend, and 3 years go by with peace. Goku would be continuing to train and would not reach Super Saiyan because he has no idea what it is. Therefore, he continues to perfect Kaioken IKARI, being able to reach new heights, which at the end of the day don't matter due to his deaths to the heart virus, leading into the android's attack. Everyone is killed by them. No Piccolo to help, no Vegeta to help, no Super Saiyans. It's even worse. However, the traumatic experience is more than enough to make Gohan go uncontrollably mad. He reaches Super Saiyan, which is actually not like Broly's. While IKARI is a Broly transformation, it doesn't give Gohan or even Goku Broly's power. However, there is something that could be achieved by Gohan. Through the years, Gohan still fights the androids, but with no Trunks because Vegeta's dead, there is no way for him to defeat the androids yet. The only thing he can do is use Bulma's time machine to go to the past and fix everything. He gives Goku the heart medicine and shows off Super Saiyan, as well explaining how to unlock it. 3 years of training would commence, with Goku unlocking Super Saiyan and being a shit ton stronger than he was originally. Jiro and 19 show up, with both being stronger due to his knowledge of Ikari and Goku's higher power level. But when he shows off Super Saiyan, it is so much stronger than original that 19 isn't able to put up a fight, even with energy absorption. Jiro still makes an escape, and Future Gohan shows up to see different androids. Goku is attacked by the heart virus, and Gohan along with everyone else go looking for Jiro. Thinking smart though, Future Gohan realizes that they won't be able to defeat the androids without his father, so they regroup at his house, where training commences until he makes a recovery. The androids are eventually confronted, but even with the much higher power levels, 17, 18, and 16 are too much for the group. Goku has the two Gohans use Super Saiyan, but 17 and 18 quickly take down Mini Gohan, while tag teaming the other two who don't have as much synergy or power to match them. Sneakily though, Cell would show up, which only makes things worse. He is unnoticed until 16 spots him and analyzes the bug. He realizes what or who he is. Jiro made him to absorb the androids, a bio-android. 16 shouts for the fighting to stop as Cell swoops in to absorb the weaker of the two, 18. However, 16 jumps in front, blocking his tail. He explains to everyone that if Cell absorbs the androids, then he will kill them all, so an unlikely alliance needs to be formed. Goku is as naive as ever, but Future Gohan has some trouble with this. At the end of the day, he realizes he can deal with the androids later. They all try to tag team Cell, but this Cell is much stronger than the one in the original, and has absorbed a shit ton more people, because Piccolo fused with Kami and Nail didn't interfere with his absorbing. Cell uses a Sun Solar Flare like he did to Trunks originally, and absorbs 18. A semi-perfect Cell just made everyone's power seem inconsequential. The unlikely alliance is now not so unlikely, as they need to make sure nothing happens to 17. 16 sacrifices himself, allowing for them to escape. This is when Goku suggests the time chamber, because it's really nothing they can do but use the time chamber. Gohan, him, and Future Gohan go in the time chamber, where all grades of Super Saiyan are discovered, but Gohan is reaching towards a new level of power. Something like Trunks' Super Saiyan Rage, but like Broly's Super Saiyan Ikari, which actually, if you think about it, are the same thing, however, are different concepts. Instead of Goku looking for Super Saiyan 2 in his Gohan, he instead helps his future son unlock his power. His knowledge of combining Ikari with Kaioken helps future Gohan try to use Ikari with Super Saiyan. While they were away training though, Cell wouldn't have just sat down and waited. No, he went after 17, and he knows where the lookout is, so it's not good for them. He's able to find him, and with literally no good protection, he easily absorbs his last android for perfection. Cell, however, allows for the group to train, giving them 10 days. No one else is really needed to do so except for like Tien and Krillin, who go in for maybe a day. Tien actually requests to go to King Kai's world, because he's so outmatched, and with over a week left, Kami allows him to do so. Remember, no Piccolo, so no Kami fusion. Tien makes it to King Kai's planet in like 10 minutes, so he gets a week to learn Kaioken. He's a fast learner, so he picks up on the basics and makes it back in time for the Cell games. Perfect Cell awaits for the first challenger. Cell wants to fight the strongest out of all of them. Even though he would love to crush Goku right now, if Goku isn't the strongest, then it isn't the most fulfilling fight he would get. And that's coming from the Goku part of Cell, so Goku even understands that desire. His future son is the one to step up and take on the beast. While in the time chamber, instead of helping his main timeline son achieve Super Saiyan 2, he helped future Gohan achieve Super Saiyan Ikari, a form not only achieved by Broly in the Dragon Ball Super movie, but also future Trunks in the Broly movie. Future Gohan starts out in his grade 4 Super Saiyan, much to Cell's excitement. The two start their fight in a fierce clash, revealing almost every single one of their cards. This fight would play out mostly like how Goku's did with Cell, except a much greater feat of power is displayed. Gohan tries to go for the most devastating blows on Cell, using all the techniques he'd learned from the Z fighters, and as well as Goku in the time chamber. He tries to use the solar flare, but Cell has Koden's DNA as well as Goku's, knowing how to counter it. Cell takes the first blow, but after that is able to tank until the effect wears off. His sensing also helps with that. Gohan expected this, however, and right after the solar flare cools down, 3 of Gohan's clones are in Cell's face, with him being overwhelmed. The real Gohan is right behind them, and as they clear, he shows up and uses a full power Kamehameha to Cell's face, much like how Goku did in the original. Half of Cell is obliterated, and it looks like he's dead, but his regeneration comes in clutch and saves him. Tired out, Cell decides no more games. He destroys the arena and declares a fight to the death between them. Future Gohan has no problem with that though. He wasn't planning on keeping Cell alive anyways. Cell is going all out now, knowing Gohan is still holding back. He uses all of his power to overpower future Gohan and make him unleash everything he has. Cell is able to showcase some of the moves he too has inherited from the Z Fighters, using Kamehamehas and multiple Super Speed Special Beam cannons, which Gohan barely dodges. But they're just distractions for the Kienzan approaching him. Gohan sees it and jumps, but Cell appears in front of him and lands a gut-shocking punch to the stomach. Gohan falls to the ground out of Super Saiyan, coughing up spit and blood. Enraged, Cell is about to kill Gohan, realizing maybe he wasn't hiding any power. He launches a point blank at Gohan's face, except it stops on contact. Gohan's aura is pushing it back. He looks up at Cell and glares, pushing the attack back towards him. Gohan activates his IKARI form on top of Super Saiyan, achieving a new transformation, amplifying his Super Saiyan form by 10 times. Now, if we do some quick maths, we know that Super Saiyan 2 is only twice the number of Super Saiyan 1. If we look at Super Saiyan Grade 4, which most people believe is higher than a 50 times boost, and for that sake I will put it at 75 times, which then we multiply by the number 10, we get a 750 times boost, and with this power, which is greater than a Super Saiyan 3 multiplier, it's safe to assume Cell's life is going to be short-lived. Knowing this was a mistake, Cell tries to do whatever he can to survive, while Gohan is getting up. He creates Cell Juniors to attack the Z Fighters, and 2 to attack Gohan with him. They all charge and the Z Fighters all power up, taking their stand. None of them are damaged, so Goku and Gohan take care of theirs easily, with the rest of the group having a little to some trouble. Some rough sparring at best. Future Gohan is attacked by 2 full-powered Cell Juniors and Cell himself, but he's holding his own insanely well. He lands a punch to one of the Cell Juniors' face, snapping his neck, and drops a blast on the other one at point-blank range, ending his short life. Cell runs back, afraid. Now while this Gohan is different than Kid Gohan, that doesn't change the effect this form has on him. Super Saiyan 2 consumed Kid Gohan with rage, so much so that he wanted to torture Cell, and Future Gohan's power is likely even more uncontrollable. He punches Cell repeatedly, to where his face is beyond recognition. Cell coughs off 17 and 18 at the same time, and without Krillin even getting to say anything, Gohan kills both of them. Cell can't do anything in his imperfect form. He doesn't even have a chance to explode. Gohan simply fires a Kamehameha and kills the bio-android. End of that story. Afterwards, Gohan returns to his timeline and Goku stays alive. He continues to train and they all manage to achieve Super Saiyan 2. By they all, I mean Gohan and Goku because Vegeta's dead and if you guys are wondering about Piccolo, watch the last part. Instead of striving for Super Saiyan 3, the next many years Goku has, he strives for Super Saiyan IKARI, realizing that power even surpasses Super Saiyan 2 by a lot. He tries to get Gohan to learn too, but he isn't interested. After forcefully learning Super Saiyan 2, Gohan gave up and resorted to studying. Goten is still born, and he would be born with IKARI, much like how Gohan was. Having experience with himself and 2 Gohans on how to control the power, Goku teaches Goten at a young age. He also teaches him Super Saiyan, which Goten gets in a snap. SLs are a handy bunch of things. Now, 7 years would pass by pretty quickly for us, and we move on to the tournament. Instead of seeing it as a Goku reunion thing, they just see it as a friends gathering and a fun time. But much like normal, Shin and Kibito would show up as well as Popovich and Yamu. Without Piccolo there, no one gets any hints on who Shin is. Shin would probably end up fighting Goku instead of Piccolo, where they would question each other and not get any answers. Goku doesn't know who he is, so he doesn't forfeit the match either. Instead, he wins with minor difficulty. After the match, Shin congratulates Goku and then explains what's going to happen, who he is, and what they need to do. Gohan is held down much like normal by Shin, Popovich and Yamu who steal their energy and run off. Without Vegeta's bickering, the team is much more synchronized and easily follow directions. Dabura still kills Kibito and they all head into the ship with the addition of Tien this time around who replaces Vegeta. Goku, Gohan, and Tien do rock, paper, scissors, which leads to the same order, and Tien replaces Vegeta like I mentioned, so he would be the one to fight Pui Pui, and he beats him with a little difficulty. Goku still wins his match the same way, and Gohan's fights with Dabura would go mostly the same, except Gohan is the one to get the upper hand towards the end, forcing Dabura to escape. Babidi wants to take someone over, but with no Vegeta, there isn't really anyone with an evil heart. The group breaks through the floors, and Tien uses steadfast thinking to use a Neo Tri-Beam and push everyone back, killing Babidi and stunning Dabura, who is freed from the Majin effect. Don't get me wrong, Dabura is still evil, but he is just freed from the Majin effect, which isn't actually a good thing because that means he's weaker, and Gohan kills him. Buu isn't released, which saves the entire Earth from eventually being destroyed, so that's a good thing. We now move on to another time skip, towards Super. 4 years of training would pass with Goku trying to stack IKARI with Super Saiyan 2. He doesn't know if it's possible, but if it is, the benefit would be absolutely insane. I would say the extra time he had in the 7 years, plus the 4 now, is more than enough time, even with his farming duties. By now, Goten would also have insane power. With Goku being around for the 7 years, he would probably train more often, and maybe he convinces Gohan to train. And by the way, Gohan would still meet Videl, get married, have Pan, become a scholar, all that citizen life stuff. Beerus would awaken and be on the hunt for the Super Saiyan God. You guys know the story well. He makes his way to Earth after learning of the Saiyans that defeated Frieza and stopped the revival of Majin Buu. Beerus comes to Earth and gets distracted by all the delicacies. But Goku would be on Earth instead of King Kai's, due to him not having instant transmission. So Beerus meets him on Earth. Goku would provoke him into a fight because he can't sense the God's Ki. Thinking he's a strong opponent, Goku ends up provoking him, and the two would start a fight, and Goku would use Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan would probably be as strong as a Super Saiyan 2 in the original fight, so he's stronger for sure. Beerus has fun in the fight, but he still dominates. Goku decides to go all out, and jumps into something no one has ever seen out of him before. Super Saiyan 2 with IKARI, which blows away everything at the boat and all the water around them. With a great display, Beerus expects this fight to go well, and it does. Goku puts up an amazing fight which would impress Beerus and actually make him try. The two fight, going strike for strike, kick for kick, and bite for bite. Beerus slightly increases his power and Goku is getting stronger as the fight goes on, so they both have a good time. However, it's not enough and the Super Saiyan God is still required. Shannon is called, much like normal, and they find out about the Saiyan requirement. But even with Videl's pregnancy, they are still 2 Saiyans short. Beerus asks Whis to search the galaxy and find any remaining Saiyans to do the ritual with. He would have just destroyed the planet, but there's newfound hope. Whis finds 3, and at least 2 of them are pure of heart. Beerus leaves with an ultimatum. 7 days. I'll be back. Goku takes a gulp and asks Bulma to get to work on his ship, which is already done cause Bulma. They go to Vampa first and find Broly and Paragus, which is an interesting confrontation. Paragus is willing to do anything to get off this planet, so he agrees to do whatever they want. Any condition they have, he'll do. Their next stop is Tarble, who is canon by the way. Whis told them the location of whatever planet there is, and Tarble is a peaceful pacifist unless needed to be otherwise. He would gladly help anyone in trouble. If we assume that the movie he had was canon, then he already knows Goku, so he would be even more inclined to help. Although he does know that one of Goku's friends killed his brother. But he also knows that his brother killed one of theirs first, actually 2 of theirs, so it's an understandable defense. With all the Saiyans gathered, the ritual is about to be performed. Goku has unlocked Super Saiyan God, but after a couple hours of moving around and sparring with Gohan in the transformation, it dissipates. However, he doesn't even notice it, because the power of the transformation has been infused within him. He goes up into Super Saiyan, which leads to Gohan stopping the fight, informing his father that the transformation had depleted. While being confused, Goku doesn't feel any different. He can still feel the power that he once had within himself. What's going on? Kami clarifies for the group. He can still sense God Ki within Goku. It's just that he hasn't been able to maintain it as the Super Saiyan God form. For this, he needs to simply train. Fortunately, they still have a day left before Beerus arrives, and the Room of Spirit and Time is looking like their best option. Goku's going to go in with Gohan, who suggests that they also tag along Broly, because he seems to have an interesting power. Gohan had sparred with Broly, noticing the sparks of IKARI within him. He wanted to test out his theory that Broly could access this power. Having already done it himself, he can help his Saiyan friend control it easily. They all go in with Broly and Gohan sparring against Goku for most of the time, trying to help him unlock the Super Saiyan God power again. Goku is dominating over them for the most part, because while not having the transformation capability, he still has the power of it. Eventually, Broly would rage out, showing Gohan the spark of IKARI once more. He pummels Goku into the ground, and for a second his hair turns red, but only for a second. Gohan intervenes, going into Super Saiyan 2 and kicking Broly to the side. He taps out of IKARI and apologizes. For the next month, Gohan helps Broly meditate while Goku trains in isolation, trying to push himself to unlock that power again. Gohan is able to help Broly control his power and unlock IKARI without raging out. It's difficult but manageable. Gohan moves slowly, taking steps to make sure that Broly is able to control the form, yet utilize all of its powers. After that happens, Gohan decides to move up to Super Saiyan. However, Broly's Super Saiyan ends up being very different than theirs, and once he's provoked into using it, it's bad for all of them. Goku and Gohan are attacked and nearly killed after Broly accesses Super Saiyan power. His hair seems to go back and forth between yellow and green. At the same time, the longer he fights, it seems that he's evolving. They wonder how he's able to use Super Saiyan IKARI without any training. Clearly he's special. Training Broly helps Goku to unlock Super Saiyan God once more, and eventually they decide to come out. Beerus arrives on the planet, and Goku uses his God transformation to give him a good fight. Satisfied, Beerus lets them live, and Whis eventually comes back, taking not only Goku but also Broly and Gohan to train on Beerus' planet. Gohan thought that if he can help Broly unlock his power, he would be doing a friend a favor. Plus, he had Shin's promise that he could use the Kai's teleportation technique to bring him to Earth in case of any emergency problems, as well as any meetings. Whis helps Gohan unlock Super Saiyan God and then Super Saiyan Blue alongside Goku. Goku is more easily able to utilize Kaioken on top of Blue because of his experience with doing it stacked with Ikari. As for Broly, Whis is trying his best to help him rage out, but not totally rage out. It seems Broly's power works off of complete rage. To unlock all of its power, he needs to go in stages. First, mastering Super Saiyan, then what we call Super Saiyan Ikari, and finally the full power Super Saiyan, or what most of you guys like to call it, Legendary Super Saiyan, even though that's not what it technically is. Whis is able to help Broly unlock 2 of those. The last stage is slightly challenging and unfortunately it's going to have to wait, as Frieza has just been revived. Like normal, Frieza would do his 4 months of training with Tagoma, while gathering his resources to attack Earth. Speaking of Earth, PotaraX has been planning revenge against Tarbo, who is the son of King Vegeta. He realizes that he can't enact revenge on the king anymore because, well, he's dead, but his son is ripe and ready to die. But would he go through with this plan? I mean, there are clearly plenty of other Saiyans to kill him after, and Broly's friends with him, so would Broly side with his father? Or do you think that Earth would soften PotaraX up, and he doesn't try to kill Tarbo or do something else? I'll leave that up to you guys, let me know in the comments. Nonetheless, Frieza arrives and he's ready to kill. Tarbo suits up and the other Z-Fighters, which only consists of humans. Piccolo is sealed and won't be helping. Gohan is on Beerus' planet, so this leaves all the humans to step up. Tarbo has managed to unlock Super Saiyan 2, so he does his best in defeating the army, which to say the least isn't that big of a deal. The army is easily disposed of. Tarbo takes care of Shizami, and Tagoma is a challenge, but the group are able to come up with a strategy. Tien uses a solar flare, and Tarbo goes on the attack while Krillin prepares a Destructo Disc, Roshi a Kamehameha, and Yamcha uses the Spirit Ball. All attacks at once overwhelm Tagoma, who is ended by a combined attack from Tien's Neo Tri-Beam and Tarbo's Gallic Gun. This gives the crew on Beerus' planet plenty of time to notice what's going on. Gohan uses his communication device with Shin so they can teleport to Earth, pretty much instantly. After arriving, it's Gohan who steps up to take on Frieza. While Goku would love to fight him again, Gohan wants to show off his newfound powers. Frieza and Gohan go hand to hand in their base forms, first to get a grip on each other's powers. Eventually both use their full powers. Frieza uses Golden and Gohan Super Saiyan Blue. While in the original, Frieza was stronger than Goku, it's not the same case with Gohan. He's easily able to outspeed Frieza, landing a barrage of punches and kicks, followed by a Masenko which kills the Emperor. Gohan has no hesitation in doing what's necessary. Crisis averted, and this leads us to the Tournament of Destroyers. The team is quite different. Goku is pretty much the only person who was on the team that was originally. After him comes Gohan, Broly, Tien, and lastly, Tarbo. The 3 years in the Room of Spirit and Time commence for both Goku, Gohan, and Broly. All managed to evolve what they were currently going at, with Broly finally managing to break the wall between his transformations. It took 3 years, but he managed to do it. Gohan, however, is on a completely different path. He has barely begun to scratch the surface of what he's trying to achieve, but he's trying to figure out whether or not God Ki and Ikari mix. But with that, let's get into the tournament. First up is actually Tarbo. He wanted to see what he could achieve, so he goes up against Botamo, who is a pretty easy opponent to defeat. Tarbo uses his quick thinking to stretch Botamo out of the ring, pun intended. Tarbo uses Super Saiyan 2 and takes Frost to his final form, but the Poison Needle comes into play, allowing Frost to win. Tien goes next and he too loses because of the needle. It's at this point Jackal points this out, and with no Vegeta, Frost is simply disqualified. Broly is sent in next against Magetta, and I would call this a fair match considering both are powerhouses. But the thing is, Magetta might be a powerhouse body-wise, but Broly is a powerhouse. I don't think words would need to come into play. Broly might just defeat him with brute strength. However, I will give Magetta the benefit of the doubt and say he takes Broly to Super Saiyan Ikari. After this, Cabba's up next, and while they have a good fight, Broly isn't a teacher, so Cabba does not pick up Super Saiyan here. He's defeated and Broly moves on to Hit. This final match is one of epic proportions. Hit has to go all out to even match up against Broly. His time skip has to increase multiple folds as the fight goes on, and Broly's taken aback. He doesn't know how to counter this. After getting knocked around and nearly pushed out of the ring, Broly rages out and uses his full-powered Super Saiyan form. The only thing that Broly knows is power. He doesn't really have the time to think of a strategy. Remember, Broly isn't educated or well-versed in any martial arts techniques, so he's only power. The ring is engulfed in a green aura and Hit's pushed back. He tries to use time skip, but Broly breaks through it and uses a beam from his mouth to knock him out of the ring. Universe 7 wins and Zeno arrives. I think Broly wouldn't really understand Zeno, so Goku would have to step in and do it for him. Now the tricky thing here is Zamasu. I know everyone wants there to be a Broly Black, but that's just not gonna happen. Broly didn't use any God Ki whatsoever in his fight. The only person that Zamasu knows of that did is Goku. While Goku didn't fight in this tournament, I'm sure he's aware of the fight that Goku and Beerus has that shook Universe 7 and even reached other universes. So this what if goes normally, with Zamasu taking Goku's body and becoming Goku Black. He attacks the future where it's future Gohan who defends. Last time we saw him, he had unlocked Super Saiyan IKARI, and I don't think it's far-fetched to assume he would have Super Saiyan 2 IKARI at this point as well. Black's first encounter doesn't go so well with the hero of the future. Gohan isn't one to play around, both in the present and in the future. He goes straight into his full power, and with this power, he demolishes Goku Black. After uncovering his face though, Gohan is taken aback, and in that moment of confusion, Black is able to escape. In the next encounter, Black is more powerful, but Gohan still has the lead. He asks a question which Black doesn't answer. Gohan goes with, well, what's the harm in killing you scenario, and does it. Goku Black stands a no chance in this timeline, so future Gohan kills him, and that's the end of that. However, we still have that other Zamasu problem, who still shows up and wreaks havoc. This time, Gohan can't kill him. Zamasu being immortal and all just doesn't die, even though there is an immense power gap between the two. This leads to Gohan requesting help from the Kais. In this story, Shin never dies because Gohan is strong enough to prevent his death by the hands of Deborah. Shin comes down with Kibido, and they talk to Gohan about the problem. Gohan reveals that Zamasu is immortal, and he knows a way they can solve this problem. He has the Supreme Kai locate New Namek, and he's teleported there, reuniting with Dende. They use Porunga to wish Zamasu's immortality away, and Gohan realizes that there are 2 more wishes since the Shenron's been upgraded. He sees his opportunity, and wishes back all the good people killed when the androids attacked all those years ago. Lastly, he restores all the damage done by Black and Zamasu. Afterwards, he thanks Dende for his huge help, and then goes back. After killing Zamasu, he reunites with the Z-Fighters. This leaves an actually happy ending for the future timeline, and that arc is completely avoided, leading us to the Tournament of Power.
The Z-Fighters are frantically looking for fighters to add on to their team. Without the inclusion of a future Zeno, there is no exhibition match, leading us directly into the build-up for the team. The first few are Goku, Gohan, Broly, and Tarble, followed by Tien, Roshi, Krillin, and Yamcha. This still leaves the group with 2 empty spots that need filling. Having already gotten everyone they can from Earth, Goku suggests Frieza. After a lot of debating with Tarble, Beerus decides that they might as well because they have no one else. Goku recruits him from Hell. However, we still need one more fighter. Another suggestion is handed out, this time from Gohan. Seeing that they've already included one bad guy from their past, might as well double up. He suggests Cell. Seeing that Cell possesses no threat as of now, they also get him. Both Frieza and Cell are sort of promised revival if Universe 7 wins, and if that's not compelling enough, the alternative is Beerus destroys them right here and now. Considering there was no exhibition match, the group have a little bit more time before they have to actually head out. Gohan's taking Cell into the Room of Spirit and Time because of this extended time. As of now, Yamcha's probably even more powerful than him, and that's my only Yamcha joke, I promise. The two don't hold back at all while training because they both hate each other, a lot, which makes them great training partners. Now I don't want to jump out here and say that Cell is going to end up getting some sort of golden or bronze form. I'm just going to say that considering he has Saiyan and Frieza DNA, he must have their potential to a degree. This, say, 5 months of training in the room provides a monstrous boost. Cell is able to surpass Frieza and even rival with Goku. On top of that, he managed to utilize a technique rather than a transformation, one that would be easy for him to use considering his regeneration capabilities. They all head off into the tournament and not much would change right off the bat. Cell and Frieza decide to stick together, attacking people around the ring sadistically. While Frieza wants to add Frost to their merry band, Cell sees right through him. He knows that Frieza's gonna turn his back on Frost eventually, so why waste their time with this fodder? While Frost thinks he's about to become part of a powerful team, Cell fakes a handshake and instead creates a powerful blast, which sends Frost flying out of the ring. Gohan has to bite his tongue and just let Cell do whatever he wants. At least he's eliminating fighters. He and Broly have stuck together, taking on opponents themselves. With no Piccolo, they haven't yet attracted the attention of the Namekians. They assist Goku with taking down Universe 9 before all 3 are confronted by Caulifla and KO. Gohan wants to fight them, forcing Goku to back off. Now this is a big thing here. It's not Goku fighting them, it's Gohan. And neither of them have any sort of Super Saiyan transformations yet. Gohan isn't interested in teaching the two either. He's not like Goku. He's easily able to overpower Caulifla and is about to knock her out of the ring when KO berserks out and accesses her Super Saiyan form, the Berserk one. Broly steps in to fight her. Sensing her power, he decides to use his full power, Super Saiyan IKARI. Of course, this isn't actually his full power. After remembering what Gohan told him about conserving energy, he only uses some attacks. Broly learned a lot over his time on Earth. He assesses the situation before entering the scene and uses enough force to take down Kale without using too much of his power. Kale tries to fight back, but her berserk state is making her extremely vulnerable. Broly is about to just throw her out, but Cell steps in, stabbing her with his tail. The energy should go to waste. He uses his power to boost his and replenish his stamina. He, alongside Frieza, takes on the large group of Universe 11 members. Frieza uses Golden while Cell keeps his trump card in the pocket for now. They're pretty easily able to take down their guys. Universe 10 takes on the human Z-Fighters, who are all given a challenge. In an all-out war between them, the Z-Fighters lose Roshi, but manage to eliminate nearly everyone on Universe 10's team. Tien takes on their strongest fighter, Agni, while Krillin and Yamcha attack Rubal. Tien utilizes his multiplication, and instead of losing to a particularly useless fighter, he takes out a stronger opponent, sacrificing himself to do it. Krillin and Yamcha are able to eliminate Rubal with no casualties. Somewhere in the midst of all that, Jiren had attacked Goku, who accessed Ultra Instinct for the first time. Gohan and Broly come to his aid, healing him and then sticking alongside him. Cell was taking note to everything and does something to ensure his survival later on. He cuts off his arm and regrows it. That'll come into play later. Hit still attacks Jiren, which results in him getting knocked out. Kaba remains the only warrior left on the Universe 6 team, but he too is taken out fairly easily without a Super Saiyan form. At this point, Universe 3's robots attack Goku, but with Gohan and Broly to support him, they're forced to fuse into Anilaza pretty quickly. However, with even more fighters than originally, and a much stronger Gohan, as well as having Cell, they're able to defeat Anilaza with ease. Universe 4's stealth fighters, however, are able to take down the remaining humans on the team, and nearly kick off Gohan. Ironically enough, Cell had saved him. Eventually, with Cell's help and Gohan's strategy, they're able to take out Universe 4's fighter, and move on to the final fight. Goku, Gohan, and Cell take on Jiren, while Frieza, Broly, and Tarble take on Toppo and Dispo. Frieza tries to solo Toppo, which he has some success with. Despite Dispo's speed, Tarble is able to come up with a good strategy to defeat him. However, this does result in his elimination. Toppo is eventually pissed off enough by Frieza to use his God of Destruction form. Broly comes back and tries to help him, but both get smacked. However, Broly decides to go all out as he sees he needs to. Full power Super Saiyan Broly demolishes Toppo. It's not even a fight. He makes a joke out of Toppo's new power and removes him from the ring. Afterwards, he joins in the effort to take out Jiren. Jiren would have to go all out because of a huge force of people in front of him. Gohan saw the need to finally use his Super Saiyan Blue IKARI form, which yields enough power to force Jiren to power up. Cell reveals his technique, being the Kaioken, which pushes Jiren to use more of his power. Goku is currently using his max as well, but with Broly's assistance, they are taking Jiren down. Frieza even joins along in the final effort, and it's not long before they take him out. Gohan will probably get the wish in competition with Cell. Whis revives Cell and Frieza for their efforts, which was an added bonus. Frieza heads off to reclaim his empire, while Cell doesn't really know what to do. Ruling a bunch of people doesn't sound fun. His original goal was to cause fear, but he's feeling good having done what he just did. He wants to fight. He wants to fight as many people as he can, and stronger people. And it looks like the best place he can do that is Earth. He can keep track of Gohan's power while fighting him, getting a rematch with Goku, and even taking on that Broly guy whose power is absolutely insane. They get a period of training where Cell is able to further perfect his Kaioken, being able to push it to 20 times, like Goku. Speaking of, Goku's trying to achieve that Ultra Instinct power he used against Jiren. He got a flash of it in their final fight, but since then he hasn't been able to use it. He hasn't been pushed enough to use it. Cell has an idea to go into an all-out fight where they hold nothing back. They decide to go to a barren planet, and both are doing exactly that. Cell has activated Kaioken times 20, while Goku is using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. They're truly close in power, but Cell's regeneration is allowing him to better maintain the Kaioken. He's even able to take it up to 25 times for short bursts, to do heavy damage to Goku. Cell backhands him before going for an uppercut, but this time Goku dodges as his hair turns silver. But just as it does, Goku loses it. They work on this for a while. Why is Cell doing this, you may ask? Well, it's like I said, he only wants a good fight, and the stronger his opponents are, the more powerful he gets. He even tracks down Frieza to spar with him every now and then. One day, Miras would arrive on Earth in search of Majin Buu, who wasn't even revived this time around. Instead, he ends up recruiting Goku, Gohan, Broly, and even Cell to fight against Moro. Cell is obviously interested in fighting new people, so he's all for it. Everything goes the same up until the fight on Namek. Goku tries to fight Moro, but the result is the same as in the original. His power is drained all the way until he's on death's door. Gohan and Broly jump in to try and stop Moro, but from the boost he got by fighting Goku, he's able to avoid them for the most part. Broly's doing heavy damage, but after he takes care of Gohan, he's able to drain the rest of Broly, and this gives him a large amount of power, a humongous power boost. Cell introduces himself and then takes a fighting stance. He hadn't just been standing there watching the Z Fighters get beat. Well, he was doing that, but he was also observing how Moro fights, and what his techniques are. He puts up an energy shield around himself in hopes of not being drained. He attacks Moro, making clones of himself to attack him from every single angle, keeping Moro busy while he pulls out his tail and stabs him, stealing Moro's energy. Getting a taste of his own medicine, Moro launches a burst of energy before curve stomping Cell's head. He kicks Cell up and uses a blast from his mouth to send him across the planet. For now, Moro is able to make his wishes. The group are healed after some time, and Cell starts to scout out what's going on. He healed quicker than the others by simply destroying his body and growing from a single cell. He tells everyone what they have to do, as Miris comes in with the reinforcements. They're against this plan, but it looks like the only way. Miris picks everyone up on a ship, and Cell flies into space, luring Moro away with him. Before Moro could even think of what he was going to do, Cell blows Namek up to kill all his allies at the same time. Take away a major power source from Moro as well. Now that everyone's healed up, they start training with Miris. Goku's able to finally unlock Ultra Instinct, while Broly, Gohan, and Cell focus on increasing their power. When Moro attacks Earth, everyone is already there, prepared. Cell doesn't give Goku the time to do anything. He steps in and uses all his power combined with Kaioken times 50 to attack Moro. He's able to do considerable damage using an array of techniques. He creates a clone of himself like before, but this time power isn't being split. He's actually created a fully powered version of himself. Miris taught him how to do that one. Cell starts shooting out death beams and then uses a perfect Kamehameha to kill Moro. Only he forgot in his assault that Moro can just absorb it. Cell is tired out when Goku jumps in front of him using Ultra Instinct to beat down on Moro. With no 7-3 to run to and backed up against the wall by Goku, who has backup, I might add, Moro has no choice but to, well, die. He doesn't take Goku's offer, and in that moment, Cell had gotten up, teleported far away, and charged a blast. He pulls a page out of Goku's book and uses instant transmission to go right in front of Moro, blowing him to Kingdom Come. And this ends our journey. I hope you guys did enjoy What If Goku Learned Ikari. It was the 1,000 subscriber special, which was a massive milestone for me. Please like, subscribe, and comment what you thought down below. It's been your boy Saiyan, and I'll see you next time.